Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tactical Harmony. And I am thrilled to introduce Doug Vowels as our next guest. As a Nashville-based, Doug Vowels is certified financial planner and fee-only financial advisor with more than 2 decades of experience serving high net worth individuals and families. As the founder of his advisory practice, Doug has built his work on a fiduciary standard, delivering objective advice with a focus on clarity, precision, and long-term results. He specializes in retirement planning, tax and wealth transfer planning, and guiding clients through complex financial transitions. Known for his direct and structured approach, Doug simplifies sophisticated financial concepts into clear, actionable plans that help clients move forward with confidence. Doug believes relationships are everything. That belief drives how he serves his clients with consistency, accountability, and a long-term perspective that extends beyond numbers. Beyond his advisory work, he is committed to philanthropic giving and supporting because that strengthens his community and expands access to financial education. He values time with family and loved ones, grounding his professional work in the same principles of stewardship, responsibility, and care that he brings to every client relationship. He serves clients in Nashville and across the country. Doug, welcome to the Tactical Harmony Show.
Thanks so much for having me, Rebecca. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's go way back. You watched your family farm get transferred to unintended people because of a lack of planning or a lack of understanding of taxes. And this obviously impacted you. Was this the reason that you joined the finance world?
It is one of the main reasons I joined the finance world. I got into it and I really believed in what we did for our clients. But truly, what got me to stay in the field was that passion because my family lost a family farm and their initiative was all about being debt free, but they never thought about being wealth transfer planning from that standpoint. So the lack of estate planning, we lost I would estimate a $4 or $5 million farm. So that's a lot of money for someone in Kentucky. So my grandfather bought it in 1969 and he was debt free in 1972. And now it's out of the family. Um, and we don't have it. And it's a very sad. And that's my passion for my clients. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it's how much money you keep and who you give it to in your intention of who to give it to, rather than the government or someone else coming in. So that is my true passion of what I do. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my mother's side of the family is actually from Kentucky, and we didn't have any farms or anything like that, but yeah, that's incredible, and I can only imagine um that's a profound experience, especially watching as a child or a teenager, and yeah, that would absolutely resonate with me too. And I think so often, like in life and in business, we see what to do and we see what not to do. And both are equally important as either a lesson or a blessing, right?
Now, absolutely. It's about direction too, right? If you have the right direction, you know what not to do as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so you are clearly an amazing CFP, and you start every plan with the client's why and the client's vision. Is there a reason that other advisors don't incorporate that methodology?
No clue. 20 years ago, I started that. I didn't start that methodology and I started with what most advisors start with. But for me, it's all about the vision. When I talk to clients, when we have our initial meeting, I said, what's your Rockwell future look like? And they say, well, I want $7,000 a month in retirement or 12,000. No, what is your vision? Why do you want that 7 to 10 to $12,000? Why do you want, and they tell me what their vision is. And that's crucial because their vision sets their priority. And when you have the priority line, you will meet those goals. that you need to make. And I've got clients that said they want to go to Spain because their ancestors are from Spain, their great grandmother was. And I need to know the why, because I need to know how important is it to meet those goals and those visions. So we start with vision, then move to goals from there. But vision is the key to everything.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. It's the North Star.
Hmm.
And, I affectionately call it the sponsoring thought. So if you want something, okay, well, why do you want that thing? And then usually you're like, "Oh, well, I wanna, I wanna do things on my own terms, or I wanna travel." "Okay, but why do you wanna do that?" "Well, I didn't have that experience when I was younger." "Okay, but why is that important?" "Well, I wanna give my children a life that I never had." "Okay, well, why is that important?" And then usually you're sussing out values, you're sussing out, really what matters to a person beyond the tangible money or the currency or the trip to Spain, as you said. It's
Hmm.
usually much bigger. And that's incredible how you just stated, Doug, that, money and wealth and like the vision and the why inform that. You start there and then you talk about the goals. That's a wonderful structure.
But to kind of deviate from there, you have to revisit the vision as well every single year with the client, because sometimes they do forget why is having X amount important to them. And we revisit it every 1 to 2 years, because first you got to revisit it, and second, you have your vision could change a little bit, and so it could deviate from there. So we revisit it quite often with our clients, along with estate planning and all the financial topics of it. But the vision is, like you said, well said, North Star of everything.
I'm glad you said that too, because we're humans and we evolve and we change and we grow and we mature. And, Rebecca in this season of her life is very different than 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. And so, with that, your vision, your mission, your values can change. And often they will. What was important to me when I was 25 is very different. And we don't need to say my age. I'm 29 plus, plus,
Give
plus,
or
plus,
take.
plus, plus. But listen, it does, and so there's an element of grace. But again, like with experts like yourself, Doug, you have this architecture that like, hey, this isn't a one and done. This is continuous. Whether it's yearly or every other year, so you have that touch point, and that kind of requires you to have that moment of introspection, taking a look at your life holistically. What matters to me? What's important? I mean, dare I say big life events such as divorce or, God forbid, a death in the family, all of those things that unfortunately none of us are immune to, that can help dictate or often will dictate our directionality and what matters and all of the things. So it's so much more than money. And I love how you have called that out.
Absolutely. And it's funny you said what's important to you at 25 is completely different than what's important to us at 35, our current ages. And uh, but it's funny because I thought about this when we are preparing for the podcast. Is what drove me at 25. I had a car on my screensaver on my laptop to drive me. The funny thing is I have no idea what that car is today, because I don't care, because that doesn't drive me. But I do know the causes I give to and the people I care about. So your vision and your being intentional and what you're intentional about changes along the way. So I just think that's ironic that a car drove me at 25, and now the car has one need: get me point A to B. But vision is very important because it does change, and it's important to know what's important to you and who you care about. So just kind of
100%.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. And okay. So money is a lot of things. It's emotional. It invokes a lot of, emotion in people: shame, fear, regret, all of the things. What is, what is one or two things that people generally get wrong about money when they're trying to build wealth or they're trying to earn it? Like, what's something that you see as a common theme people get wrong
Mo-
generally?
Most of my clients, before meeting them, think it's about accumulation, and it's not. It's about alignment. I've seen people with $2 million, $20 million feel anxious, feel trapped. I've also had clients that when I met or initially working with them, they were making $500,000, $600,000 without a family, and they're like, "Doug, I save $5,000 a month," and it's not about the number; it's about their money actually down. And if it's serving them, we don't need that. So, and most people don't have an alignment of seeing what is enough. They don't have that answer because most people don't. How much money is enough? So they keep chasing it. They keep chasing it, and it's a dangerous game with no finish line. You got to know what you want your money to do for you. So it all starts with alignment. And when you start on the ship, if it's 1 degree off, you're going to be miles off. So alignment is crucial when it comes to money, and that's generally the only thing they get wrong because everything else after that is completely wrong. And
Yeah. Fuzzy targets don't get hit.
I
They
like
don't,
that.
like,
I like
I'm always
that.
gonna bring that up, right? Like,
Hmm.
being an agent for so many years and, but it's true, and clarity is a superpower. And, from where I'm sitting, Doug, I have such an honor. I pinch myself because I get to interact with such amazing individuals such as yourself and people from all walks of life, all different areas of expertise and just incredible. And by virtue of me doing this, I see a lot of themes. And people generally say the same thing, but they say it in a different way based on whatever
Yes.
they do for this world and how they serve. And one very common theme is clarity and it's alignment. Right? Like, it's like when you go to a restaurant, I don't order the spaghetti, pizza, burger, salad, whatever, right? Like, I order
Yeah.
a spaghetti, and I would
Yep.
like meatballs, and I wanna, add the cheese, the Parmesan cheese, and I want my Caesar salad. Like, I'm very specific. Hold those anchovies. Your girl doesn't want anchovies on there, right? Like, I'm specific. Yeah, so it's like ordering, right? Like, if you implement or if that analogy resonates with you, it's funny, but it's also very, very true. So in life and business, what do I want? Because someone can have, we'll just say $1 million and they are nourished, they are living large, they're feeling good, they're happy, they have more than they need, and they're living a wonderful life with their family, their friends, their loved ones, with their pets, whatever. And then for others, that's not enough because they have different, like a different vision, all these
Hmm.
things. And so just to double tap on what Doug said, money and beyond money, alignment is everything. Because you can be amazing at your job or amazing at a lot of things, but it's draining you and you're not happy and you're like, "Oh, okay." Right? And it's like, "But I'm not aligned." But I am
Hmm.
aligned when I'm doing this other thing or, whatever that is to you and, business and beyond. And so alignment is something that I don't think generally in society we talk enough about.
Absolutely. And you talk about $1 million could be just enough for someone, but and another person is not. And wealth looks different to everyone. And I believe in that wealth is doing what you love to do with the people that you love to be with and the causes that you care about. That is true wealth. And obviously money is part of that because you got to have money to do what you need to what you want to do. But those are wealth. Those three aspects of life is wealth, and somebody with $1 million could do that. Somebody with $100 million could do that. So, but like I said, I've seen clients with $20 million anxious. I've seen some clients with 500,000 that are just very calm, at peace, and they live a simple life. So wealth looks very different to many people.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, beyond money or a number in the bank account. What if you ask me what I consider a rich life, right? Like it's a wealthy life. I know we all say health is wealth, and that is very true. Because what's the
Hmm.
saying that you have a million problems until you have a health problem, and then you only have one, right? So
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
it's a big deal. But like it to me, it's the highest expression of self. And I'm at peace, and to me, that is success, and that's how I define success in this season of my life. And of course, that includes health, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically,
Mhm.
because we drill down on holistic leadership here in Tactical Harmony. And so, yeah, it is kind of funny where, in your 20s, like, you had the car on your phone, and I think we all do, like, material things make you happy, and, like, of course you want a nice car. I know I did when I first started to make money when I was a baby agent. I was excited when I got my first Jeep. You would have thought I had $1,000,000, and I didn't, and that's
Yep.
okay too, right? Because money does give you opportunity. It
It
absolutely does.
does.
And so, there's an element of both. So, okay, Doug, you talk about relationships and how relationships are everything. And I'm curious, how has this helped you in your career and in life, especially because you're in an industry that is based on numbers. So how has relationships really helped you?
In life and business, relationships are everything to me. And you don't have to have many relationships. You just have to have the right ones. And we are in an industry that is based upon math, but most of the time, that math is based upon emotion. And I try to pull that emotion out from the client. And the irony in it is most of the emotions that arrive in financial decisions are based upon the client's values, fears, their family dynamics, and more importantly, their history with money. And all I'm trying to do is to advocate and provide them enough confidence to make the right decisions. And it's not about a portfolio. It's not about the market risk. The biggest risk that that clients come to me with are their emotional risk because they truly want to they want to get out of the market when the market's low, and they want to get in the market when the market is high. And we just it's all about discipline. So importantly, from that emotional standpoint, is relationships are everything. The most important relationship is with my creator. The second most relationship is with my family, and the third is with my family and friends, and the third is with my clients. And I truly believe in this business. If you don't have a relationship with your clients, they're not a client. It's a transactional piece. And believe me, I was in that industry 15 years ago, in the insurance broker dealer industry, but now I truly have relationships with my clients. When you have a relationship with your clients, you'll do anything for them, just like your friends, to help them succeed. Relationships is key in every aspect of life. Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm so glad you called that out, right? Like the spirituality piece and relationship with yourself. And,
Hmm.
that's a common thing that we talk about here is if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others.
Hmm.
And there is an element too, and I'm glad you called this out, that you can feel like there's an energy if you feel something is transactional.
Hmm.
Your intuition kicks in, your spidey senses. And not that there's anything wrong with that, people doing a job and they kind of go through the motions. But it is quite a different ball game and a different league when it is based on something else. And like I genuinely care about you. I have your best interest at heart. This is about a relationship, and I care about you. And it's very, very different, and you're gonna get a different side of your client. You're gonna learn more, and then you're in a better position, and you're postured to help them and serve them more based on their North Star, their values, their vision, and then you can kinda get into the nitty-gritty with their goals. That's so important.
Absolutely. It's funny you said that because 20 years ago, it was transactional for me in the insurance and investment business. And last week, I had a client event in Kentucky, in Lexington. We had 65 people there. And it's truly, I enjoy time with those. And I think we said the same about the time with clients. So it's very, very cool and neat to see clients that became or friends that became clients and clients that became friends. And I truly believe that. I used to believe in my industry, in the insurance industry 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, that I had a personal life and I had a business life.
Mm.
Now I believe I have one life and they mesh together. And it's very neat. I love just my clients. It's bizarre to them because they've never had this in a financial advisor. I just call them randomly to see how they're doing. And because I love talking to them. I just had a conversation with a guy yesterday. love him dearly. And my clients tell me they love me too. And I've never met them prior to become a client. So it's pretty neat. And some people like, Doug, that's kind of weird, but it's not because it is about relationships. I talked to this guy for an hour and a half on his birthday and he just enjoy the conversation. And sadly, we talked about UK basketball, which is not in a good spot right now, but that was part of the conversation. But it's nice to spend time with clients, that go out to dinner with them, go out to lunch with them, and relationships are the key to that. So I can't harp enough on relationships in this business and in life. It
Yeah.
just I can't harp enough. So
Okay, so you clearly have a very big heart and you care about the people, you care about relationships, and you also give you have such a beautiful philosophy because you give money away so much. Like you're like so I'm curious, can you walk us through your philosophy of giving away money and what that means to you?
it lot it it personal relationship with inside of where I get plan, Rebecca. This is not a joke or any stretch of it. My tax plan is to give more to charity, church, and people than the IRS. That's my ultimate tax plan. And one of my favorite quotes is Epictetus. It says, "If you want to improve, you must be willing to look foolish and stupid." And honestly, most of my clients and most of my friends, they're like, "Doug, you are foolish for giving that philosophy." And most people do give, of my clients and my friends, but they just think it's out of the ordinary to give that. And I grew up with no money, and I know God's going to take care of me. And I also know, and this we'll hit upon this probably later, but it's it's not my money to do with. I'm a manager and I'm a steward of it, but it is not my money. So it's not about generosity, a purpose. So I know exactly the 5 causes I give to every single year without a doubt. Creates perspective for me. And it changes how I have a relationship with money because I know I'm going to be taken care of. I've done all
Mhm.
the work and I believe in that. So uh, I used to come from the philosophy of I wanted to protect my money. Now I want to deploy it and to see what it really does for others. And that's my philosophy. And good, bad, or indifferent, I will not change it. I don't care if I'm making $50,000 or 100 million. I'm still going to continue to give, and really truly believe those charities will do better with that money than others will, from that standpoint. So that's my philosophy: is generosity is, and I've been very blessed. My brother, my dad, and people close to me have helped me tremendously in my business, tremendously, and in life, obviously.
Mhm.
So you got to give back, whether it's to them or to others. So that's my philosophy on giving, and it's unique, I believe, but I truly believe that's the purpose of why I do what I do, is to build relationships, to help others with their vision, and then to give money generously.
Yeah, and yeah, I can understand or see why others might say you're foolish or that's not ordinary. But what an incredible gift to be extraordinary,
Hmm.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, and I know you don't do it to stand out, but if we look back at history, the first time someone did something or like Walt Disney, I mean, he had this vision of Disney World, Disneyland, like people
Yeah.
thought he was insane. And we all know Albert Einstein, people thought he was crazy. But how wonderful it is to not be ordinary and to not be average or mediocre and to do things from your heart and from your vision and what means something to you. Again, because you were confident. I know I'm aligned. I know my relationship with my creator is number one and how I want to do and give to the charities. And I think that's to be celebrated. And it can look different for others, and that's okay and perfect and divine as well. That's their journey and this is yours. And I think it's wonderful. And I think it's an amazing philosophy because I share this sentiment that, when you give, you receive. I feel so good when I give to others with nothing, no expectation to receive anything back, but the amount of gratitude I feel and, I'm trying to, feel like another emotion, like, I just feel so happy, I'm happy and I'm grateful that when I give something to somebody and then I may or may not know what they do with it, but that ripple effect and the impact to know that even one life was made better because of me, that's a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. That's not a
Yep.
Rebecca quote, but right? Like, it
Yep.
feels good.
Absolutely.
When you feel good, you show up better in life and business. And, like, giving more and, when I do make more, I do wanna give more because it's currency, right? It's like a river. I think Kathy Heller, again, this isn't Rebecca, but I learned this from her. It's like, money's a current, it flows in, it flows out. It's called currency, current. And so I trust and bless my money when it comes in, and I trust and I bless it when it comes out. And, I do think there's an energy component there, and it's a wonderful thing because it shifts your lens, the lens you look through when you're looking at money. So a lot of people have limiting beliefs around it, but like you said, I have a different relationship with money. And I think people listening or watching us, examine your relationship with money because it is a relationship. Do you curse it? Do you, hold on to it tight because you're
Yep.
afraid that it's going to be right and you're white knuckling and that doesn't feel good. So, like, examine it and be honest with yourself and then how you can make it better, however slight. And there's experts like Doug out there that can help walk you through that.
Yeah, and it goes back to the cheerful giver, as the Bible says. And I was
Yes.
not a cheerful giver, Rebecca. I was giving the money away, but I was holding on to it because I still was questioning if I wanted to give. And now I don't even think about it. And there's good and bad with the how we give. And now it's all automated with ACH or credit card debits. Uh, but and it takes away that, hey, I am giving from that standpoint. But it also makes you think, hey, I'm not going to miss it. It's a part of my plan, and that plan is going to work. And it's a lot like working out, eating healthy, starting your podcast, starting your business. And my business is it's uneasy at first, and it feels odd. But once you do it once or twice, it gets easier and easier. And now I try to beat last year's giving, and that's truly what I want every single year. And I love the philosophy, and I'll continue to live by it. No one, I hate to say I'm closed minded, but no one will change my belief system on that.
I
So
love it. You
yeah,
hold on to that fiercely, that steadfastness. I mean, I think that
yep,
is hashtag goals for a lot of people. Right? Because,
yep,
like, hey, if someone asks me, this has nothing to do like with, specifically with money, but if someone asks me, I don't know what to do. I'm lost, I'm confused, I'm overwhelmed, I'm burnout, insert whatever, lower frequency state or, harder, tough season that they might be going through. One piece of advice that I give everyone is give, give, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean money. It certainly can, but give something, give your time, give your presence. Give $1 to a charity, give your hour to a soup kitchen or something that means
yep,
something to you. Maybe it's a humane society, animal shelter, give. And you will see the blessings that come your way.
yep,
Start giving.
absolutely,
And oh, it's just such a like I have chills even saying that because it's not woo. Like this is such a force in life. We're here for connection and creation and we relate to each other, we bump into each other in this galaxy in this crazy
yep,
world. I mean, look how cool it is. Like you're East Coast, I'm out in the mountain states here in Montana and we're on this computer talking and connecting and helping others by virtue of this conversation. What an incredible
hmm
time to be alive.
absolutely. It's the world we live in. The world we live in. So, and I love it. You can connect all around the world. And um, I'm probably more of the South, I would say, the accent, as you can tell. But yeah, East Coast, and we're far away.
Yeah, we're
Far
not next to
away.
each
So we're not.
few more
Uh,
questions for you.
yeah.
So talking about financial education and literacy, we've talked about some things that, people might get wrong or might have a general misconception with, but like, do you see certain gaps in financial education and literacy? Because I know that's something that's like really important to you? And what is it costing these people and like the education world if they're getting this wrong?
It's we live in the world, as I just said, we live in the world of TikTok influencers and social media outlets. And a lot of some of my clients even say, "Hey, I saw this on TikTok." And so we need to discuss that. So a lot of people get it wrong because they go to social media. And I tell clients all the time, yes, if we do uh, plan A, it's going to have a side effect. But if we do plan B, that's going to have a side effect, but it's going to also have an interaction with plan A. Each step of the plan that we do is going to have an interaction. And a lot of folks, sadly, goes back to the fiduciary standard. Um, they they work with reps that will sell commission based products, and they're not a fiduciary, even though they say they are. So, uh, because fiduciary in our business is a term that I live by with the CFP, the highest standard of fiduciary responsibility. A lot of people get it wrong where their rep sells on fear. And fiduciary is legally obligated to act in the best interest for the clients at all times. Seems simple, but most do not. Some advisors or some reps do not operate that way, and it goes back to transaction versus being in the uh, relationship business. And I always argue this point: if someone gets paid more to recommend one strategy over another, that influences outcomes, whether they admit it or not. So I always argue, if the insurance companies and the broker dealers change their comp structures for life insurance and annuities, those product sales and permanent life insurance and annuities, those life sales would dry up. And too many people get in those products that they can't get out of without a substantial surrender charge or cost to them. So they get it wrong because they get products that they can't get out of without a substantial cost. So, and they also, because they think one size fits all, and it does not. You can see the challenge that I have as a fiduciary and a CFP to look at to challenge the reps that are selling those products and the influencers on TikTok. I don't have a TikTok channel or a YouTube channel to influence those, but so that's where a lot of people get it wrong, and a lot of people feel that they're behind the curveball or the eight ball as well. Is they're like, it's too late. It's just too late. I should have a lot more. And if we should have, would have, yeah, the uh, looking in the rearview mirror is 2020. But Warren Buffett made what 90% of his net worth after 50, and so it's pretty neat to see. It's never too late. You just have to reorganize your life, and too many people make it complicated. You need to make it simple, and that's what I try to do here, is making it simple for the clients.
Yeah, yeah, because otherwise you're in analysis paralysis. Where do I start? Where do I go? And yeah, that's huge. And I think it's, and I don't want to, misquote this, but I'm pretty sure Mel Robbins, she at age 41, she was 800 grand in debt. And
Uh-huh.
now look, like her top podcast, like let's just say she's not in debt anymore, y'all. Not it's not too late. And I know that's a limiting belief, right? And we want to call those out. Like what story, what narrative are you telling yourself? Is it fact? Is it fiction? And that applies to money, that applies to business, that applies to your relationships, your community, your spirituality, your health. It applies to absolutely everything in your life. And our thoughts or your mind just keeps going all day. And a lot of the stuff we tell ourselves isn't true. It's not empowering. It's not helpful. It's not loving. And we need to start examining that. And it starts with self-awareness. And so having that radical self-awareness and really checking yourself, you're going to show up differently, certainly in your finances, certainly
Hmm.
as a leader, as a professional. So that's awesome. Yeah, it's so important. Okay, so Doug, what do you do for you? Like, do you have like a certain habit or practice that you do that keeps you feeling good and operating at peak performance?
Well, yes, when I'm operating peak performance, I'm at least getting up 5 days a week to work out, getting up before working out, journaling, gratitude journal, reading the Bible. So that sets my direction for the day. And I do enjoy some wine and bourbon because I'm from Kentucky for the bourbon, but but we must love bourbon back then. But those are the key focuses for me. Is in the morning ritual is gets me right for the day and allows me to prepare for the day because I'm going to have challenges in the day, especially with transitional staff and transition of technology. Technology is not my strong suit. So it's all about gratitude at the beginning and it changes your attitude for the day. And I can tell, Rebecca, and I don't know what your ritual is, love to hear it, but your routine, when I don't do that in the work week, it's already a bad day. It does not start out as strong as it would have if I read the journal and Bible. So that's what I tend to do five at minimum of 5 days a week, and gets me in the right direction. And it's all about intention. And it's
Mhm.
weird. It's tough to get up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning to journal but once you do it, you get momentum, and that's the key in this business as well is momentum for my business, my firm, but also momentum for my clients. They see that, oh my gosh, I got $1 million saved up and I'm only 50. Then they're like, oh, I got $2 million. I'm 55. So it's just amazing what the momentum does. And I try to build on the momentum. It just takes one step. It goes back to, I don't know if you've read The One Thing by Gary
Mm-mm.
Keller. It's a
No.
must. It is a
Okay.
must. It's a must read. It's a book that I read every single year because it's about intention. And the best quote I've ever heard in the best quote in that book is, "What's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything is easier or even unnecessary?" And life makes it. If I get up in the morning, everything else is easier in the work day. So that's what I do. From that standpoint. But that is a very good book that I highly recommend.
I just wrote it down for those that are listening. You didn't see me, but I actively wrote it down in my journal. That is so amazing, and I could not agree with you more. And I know for my faithful listeners, you've heard us talk about this, is the power of mornings. And, whether you get up at 04, 05, 06, whatever that looks like for you, if it's easy, everyone would do it. But having that intentionality is so important because your day is Xeroxed based on the beginning of your day. And y'all know that I love meditation and
Mhm.
I am fascinated about neuroscience and especially that intersection with spirituality, right? Connecting with the divine within, connecting with my highest self, my highest truth. And that's how you get alignment. And so in the morning, before I even get out of bed, I'm not doom scrolling. I'm not jumping on my phone. I know that my brain waves are coming out of delta into theta and then alpha. And then right now we're into beta because you and I are talking, we're awake,
Mhm.
we're not in that sleepy, dreamy state. But that is important. And why is that important? Because when I'm coming from delta into theta and I'm just waking up, my subconscious mind is listening. It's listening right now
Yep.
too. Let's be honest. But we're only operating with 5% of our brains, and that's the conscious mind. 95% is that, programmed operating system, as I call it, your blueprint, which is the subconscious mind. So when you are going to bed and when you are waking up, that is the sweet spot, right? How you talk to yourself, the thoughts you think, everything is so important. So whether you journal, you practice gratitude, you say a prayer, you meditate, you're still in that meditative state. However,
Mhm.
that is powerful. Like you want to strike while the iron is hot. And what do people think about when they first wake up? Their problems. They think about their problems. They think about a story that they're replaying. They're thinking about all the stuff they have to do today instead of the things they get to do. Instead of, I woke up this morning and I'm like, I have air in my lungs. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. I
Yes.
am here and I have the ability to interact with amazing people such as Doug. I get to serve the world in my area and my corner of the world and the corner of the internet. Thank you for this gift. Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good before my feet hit the ground,
Yep.
y'all. Like that is
Yep.
a big deal. And I'm going to feel good. I'm going to show up different. Right. And then I
Absolutely.
introduce movement, intuitive movements, and I could go on and on, but there's a lot of things. But what Doug is saying is so important. And it's how you start your day really sets the tone, for the rest of your day. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, try it. Try something. Maybe
Yep.
it's journaling like Doug, or getting up even 10 minutes earlier. Do something for yourself. It's a gift. And when you give to yourself, you're able to give and hold more capacity to give to others.
Yep. And it's
Last,
more about consistency than intensity, right? And I'll tell you, met a friend yesterday. He's battling cancer, and he just, if I heard gratitude once, I heard it 100 times. It's unbelievable, the shift in mindset, right? And by the grace of God, it looks like he's gonna fully recover. But it is about intention and attitude, and I'm sure he didn't learn gratitude early in his cancer battle, right? And he learned it over being consistent over time versus just doing it once and for a week. So uh, very, very cool to see. Very cool.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And if he can do it, others can do it. And
Mhm.
it's inspiration, especially when someone is battling something that, kind of forces them to face their mortality.
Mhm.
And it's a big deal. It really does. Give you a perspective, and perspective really dictates how we show up, right? Because we're the meaning makers. We put labels on things and people and experiences. And I truly believe, as Tony Robbins says, life happens for us, not to us. So even a perceived bad, negative, horrible, catastrophic situation is still helping me. It's still making me grow. It's serving me on this human journey. So last question for you, Doug, before we part ways. What is one last message, theme, takeaway that you would like to leave our audience with here today?
Well, that's a lot, Rebecca. It is. It, it's it's really a reason why I name my business Intentional Wealth Planning. You must be intentional at life. When I'm not intentional about working out, Um, my doctor does not like my weight or my lab work. If I'm not intentional about learning, I feel kind of lost. If I'm not intentional about journaling and reading the Bible, I feel lost again. So it is truly about your intention in life and what's important to you. Uh, it will happen and you will do it. And purpose without priority is powerless. So that's where I get my intention and just be intentional.
I love that. Doug, that's awesome. Well, where can people find you if they're interested in learning more about you, or if they're interested in hiring you? Where can they find you?
They can just go to www.intentionalwp.com. We got a calendar link there, or they can call us at 888-688-4097. Love to hear from them.
Got it, Doug. We'll make sure that's listed in the show notes below. Thank you so much for a spirited conversation and teaching us a little bit more about money and all of the amazing things in life and business. I appreciate you, Doug.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well, Rebecca.
Doug Vowels offers advisory services through Intentional Wealth Planning, a member of Advisory Services Network, LLC. This is intended for educational purposes only. Please consult your investment professional, legal, or tax advisor for specific information pertaining to your situation. All information contained herein is derived from sources deemed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed. All views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the presenters, and they do not reflect the views and opinions held by Advisory Services Network, LLC.